Hello friends, my name is Milind. This video is all about analyzing the NEET 2020 first round results. As you know, there were provisional results announced yesterday, and today we see that they've given the finalized version of the of the results that went out yesterday. I did analyze the two PDFs, the ones that were published by MCC. Honestly speaking, I could not find any differences except the except the missing word provisional. But outside of that, they are literally the same. So today, what I've done is, of course, I've looked at, if there were any differences. I also tried to look at, if you remember from my yesterday's video, there were a lot of colleges which had a very vast range, and the range. The reason why there was such a large range is because there were I had included ranks for some extreme categories. Extreme categories would be something like a PWD, which tends to go much lower than say a general or one of the reserved categories. So that's the reason why some of the colleges were showing a very highly inflated range. So what I've done is I've tried to come up with a better sheet with a more accurate one that will give you more sense of where exactly or what the real picture is. So what I'll do is I'll shift to the sharing mode. Just give me a second, and this is what we're talking about. So let's start with the at the top. This is the site. If you go to this particular site and called mccnic.in UG counselling, you'll see that the final result is now available for round 1 MBBS and BDS 2020 undergraduate. So this analysis is based on the result which was published. I think it was published today, and essentially let's go to the first part, which is the MBBS analytics. So from yesterday, what I've done is from all of these categories, I've excluded the PWD because, like I mentioned yesterday, they are leading to some really large skews, which essentially takes away the meaningfulness of the ranges that we were trying to highlight, that I was trying to highlight. So again, I'm not going to go too much into each of these colleges because the numbers have, although the numbers have been adjusted, the trends remain the same. We still see that AIIMS Delhi remains the number one. It's not like it's going to change in a day. But one thing to notice is the two kids that dropped out of AIIMS, one of them has joined JIPMER, and the second one has joined this college in Pune. Same with OBC. I think OBC there is really no ambiguity. Anyone who was eligible has absolutely gone with AIIMS New Delhi, and thereafter I think there is a split between between JIPMER and Maulana Azad. Now another thing that I noticed as part of the analysis was Maulana Azad Medical College New Delhi also has a quota for New Delhi students. Now, because of that, you will see two entries for Maulana Azad. In fact, the next one is right below you, below the first one, and these two entries are essentially nothing but the quota for national and state level allocations. So at the general level, it's 18 to 97, so that's almost a 1:6 ratio. This one is 10 is to 50, that's 1:5 ratio. This is 5 is to 30, again 1:6. This is again 1:6, and overall also is a little below 1:6. So that makes sense, right? 1:6 would be about 15 to 85. Yeah, that would be expected. So it is indeed confirmed that all India quota is 15%, and the state level quota is 85%. So that's the only discrepancy I wanted to highlight. You may see two colleges with the same name, but just know that one stands for the national quota and one for the state level quota. Now, everything else that I mentioned earlier remains same. What you will find is between high and low, the difference is now a little more acceptable in the sense, it is more on expected lines rather, I would say. I've also included a count. So these are the number of seats that were allotted in the first round. So AIIMS Delhi, without any doubt, 49 seats all were grabbed. And same is the case with the rest. So if you notice, the overall seat count will be tad short of what the actual capacity is. And the reason for that is the PWD, as I mentioned above, PWD is not, I repeat, it's not included in my analysis. So all the ranks and all the ranges that you're looking at are really excluding PWD. And the reason, as I mentioned, is because the population was so thin that it's really, it's really not doing much beyond, creating a skew. So that's what I've avoided here. When we go down, the same trends continue. There are, as you can see, let's jump directly to Mumbai this time around. In Mumbai, you have 24 seats allotted for All India quota on the general category. Another thing that I've noticed is whenever we are looking at a state level AIQ quota, there is no OBC. So anytime you see um, anytime you see this happening, more often than not, that's really the reason. If you're seeing these blanks for OBC, that's really, what explains. In some cases, there are no reservations for other categories as well. So it really depends on, the jurisdiction of the college and, what norms have been adopted, what permissions have been granted, the status, etc. I mean, it's too complicated to go through this, in this channel, or sorry, in this video. But let's do the needful, which is let's relook at AIIMS and let's see how AIIMS is now faring. If you remember, 5150 is what it was showing yesterday, and it's looking at, we're looking at the exact same number, so zero difference on the AIIMS side, which is expected. The total number of general category seats is 739. This is what you can see after first round. These are the number of seats that are being allotted by, through the first round. Total number of seats in AIIMS, all of the AIIMS together is 1754 minus, so this is not including the PWD. This is probably the third time I'm saying this, but I just wanted to make sure that, nobody misconstrues this information. These are 1754 seats, not counting the PWD candidates. Assuming about 2 or 3% extra, it would cross about 17, I don't know, close to 1770 or so, 1775. That would be the total number of candidates who would join AIIMS, in 2020 through NEET. Let's go back to the full sheet. And as I promised yesterday, let's try to do some filtering based on government medical colleges. Now, because this thing is quite bespoke, okay, fine. So I've managed to do some sort of filtering. Now you have to note that, this is Excel filter at work. I may have absolutely filtered out something which is spelled as a government medical college or something of that nature. So I just want to make sure that, you realize that. Okay, so now we are looking at both. We are looking at the other side, which is government medical colleges. But as you can see, they are all sorted by the highest ranker that got entry and the lowest ranker that got entry in the first round for the general category. The same rules apply for the SC category, for the ST category, and this is the overall bird's eye view of what the range was, overall range for this particular college, and the total number of seats that were allotted to this college by by MCC in the first round. Okay, this is a nice little list. It fits in a single page. Let's look at all the government medical colleges. This is a slightly longer list, so we may have to scroll a bit. Again, some of these GMCs are highly rated, and you will find a extremely large variation because of various factors. I mean, it's really difficult to look at such a large data and figure out where exactly where exactly the range ends. But in case you're curious about what the cutoff was in the first round for medical government college quota, I have another sheet that I've created. Now this sheet was created based on results that were published by AP. So AP was one of the first states to provide the ranks and the order for all the AP candidates that were declared as successful. There were 35 odd thousand of them, and what I've done is I've looked at the ranges. So, for example, 510. There were 4 candidates in Andhra Pradesh. That's the way to read the sheet. There were 4 candidates in Andhra Pradesh that had 705 marks, right? The highest rank has been allotted to 26, and the lowest rank being 54. So the difference between them is 28. Now, because AP only accounts for 4 of them, it's a fair assumption that 21 of them, belong to outside of the state. But between this 20 and 26, it's very difficult to gauge based on this data whether whether they belong to 710, 75, or somewhere in between. So that's why I've resisted myself from doing any kind of further extrapolation. So please do take this particular sheet with a pinch of salt. But anyway, the way you can look at where exactly quota closed in the general category for first round is by looking up this number 5105, and you'll notice that 5105 lies somewhere between these 2 numbers. No, not this. Yeah, I think exactly these 2 numbers. So essentially the cutoff was at 644. It's not that difficult to figure out that it's at 644. So government medical college first round has closed at 644 general category. If you want to see some of the other categories, you can also look at it. SC quota has closed at close to 34,709. So there we go. So at around 572 marks. These are pretty high marks. As someone who has never applied for NEET, even a single mark is absolutely praiseworthy. Not to say that I wouldn't have got decent marks, and what's decent is I'll just reserve that. So let me know if you want me to analyze or give you cutoff numbers for for each of these colleges. If that helps, I'm more than happy to oblige. So do let me know. So that's really, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll real quick so that you get a feel of the new numbers. And these are, of course, all the MBBS colleges. Now we'll switch to BDS. BDS, same story. We have the same college offering both MBBS as well as BDS. And in this case, it's not only offering both the courses, but it also offers an all India quota as well as a state quota, and both were included in the results for that were declared today. As you can see, there are differences here, pretty stark differences. In fact, the national quota ends at 60-20, and the state level quota begins much further down, which is expected. You do expect the Delhiites who are eligible in the national quota to just go and apply to the national quota, and the ones who could not meet the guidelines, they were essentially picking up the state level quota. But rest of the story is pretty much the same as what we saw yesterday, or what we saw also in the MBBS side of things. the same number of differences exist. In some cases, I saw that in most cases, I saw that OBC quota was missing, and in certain cases, there is a differentiation between all India uh, and the state level quota. So without any further delay, I'm just going to scroll real quick so that you can capture everything. And last but not least, I just wanted to do this. There was this one case where I think we were puzzled yesterday, so I'm just going to show that to you. I think it was 343. So there were cases of there was this case of, let me just see if I can find that. Okay, so these are the cases that I also wanted to quickly talk about because the sheet that you're seeing, the one that I was showing you, does not has a lot of hidden columns, and I'll explain that part. The reason for that is there are these general category with a priority assigned. And I see that this particular group has a CW. It essentially means children and widows of select or certain armed personnel. So respect to you. So these are some some specific quotas which are being given on a need basis, to the martyrs or to serving officers who have done who have done some excellent work. To be very honest, I don't know what the criteria is for for qualifying in here. But what I found was there were something like 6 to 7 odd groups which belong to this priority, which had a priority tag against it. And in those cases, as can be imagined, the All India rank is not in the highest buckets. So that kind of remains the last discrepancy which I had left unanswered yesterday, and I'm just answering it here. And in terms of how it manifests on the sheet, I can open up the entire sheet, and you'll see that at the top we have the economically weak section. Actually, I've cleaned up these these fields so that I wouldn't have to show you a very large number of data. And I just realized that the filter is still on, so I'm going to clear this filter. I was wondering where the numbers were. But let me again open up the entire sheet so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we have these, in some cases, in maybe 1 or 2 cases, very few cases, honestly, there is this EW number, which is economically weaker section quota, and there is a particular quota within that quota, and I just noticed that there were a couple of allotments through this route. Then after the general category, there were certain priorities. These are again belonging to the CW CW class. And again, we're not seeing a very large number, maybe a handful, maybe 10 to 15 odd places were decided based on these quotas, but they were really some special instances of, of genuine cases, I'm sure. So as you can see, there are a lot of buckets. I counted about 7 buckets in which the general category priorities have been provided. And then I saw, that OBC also has this priority order, 2 of them, in fact. And then, the SC and ST, even this particular category has been, further divided. Again, let me repeat the number of seats that were allotted through this priority order are extremely small. We're talking about less than 15, or maybe a very significantly small number. which is why I did not, take those into consideration. I've basically taken them out. They do play a role in these overall numbers. So, if you see a discrepancy wherein, the lowest number is not found here, or the lowest rank is not found in the sheet that is shown by you, just note that, this is trying to figure out the lowest based on all the hidden categories as well. So that's really, it in terms of this part two. We've I think I've got enough information about, or I understand how the whole placement process works, and how the whole, the priority order has played a role in this, in this weird odd year where, everything got delayed, and, you know what I'm talking about. So long story short, let's just digest this, amongst ourselves. Use this information to plan your strategy, or to, to take some inputs into the next round if it helps. And hopefully, you'll get a college of your choice. And if you're a student, if you're just like me, who's looking at this from a more knowledge perspective, then these insights have proved to be slightly valuable to you. And if that's the case, please do like the video. Like, as I said, is a currency for YouTube. And please do pay your dues. एक like तो बनता है. So go ahead, subscribe to my channel if you would like. As I said yesterday, I don't expect to be publishing too many videos. I would probably do a few during this NEET placement season, but thereafter I would probably be going into a hibernation mode. But in either case, you will not get any notification and you won't get disturbed. So, no harm in subscribing, I suppose. So go for it. And once again, stay safe and take care. Cheers. Bye.